those who are running smaller law firms may not get to hire a lot of people. So I think they're sort of, I don't know, hesitant
Sure.
to hire or hesitant to move to these models because they're like, oh, it's just me. I need to make a certain amount of money to make sure I'm afloat and the business is afloat, my family. But I think it's extremely important for them to hire the right people to their staff. So what tips do you have for small law firm owners when it comes to building their initial team?
Yeah, love this question. So first, I mean, the good news is in today's market, today's economy, there's lots of options besides a 40-hour-a-week W-2 employee. So if you're wondering, am I ready? Can I afford? That's a big commitment to take on. The good news is you can outsource and you can get a virtual assistant and or virtual receptionists and bookkeepers and marketing assistants. Like there's so many people out there and it's really reasonable and easy to do. And so that's a great place to start. And some of them you can even start with someone at 10 hours a week. You're going to quickly realize how much you can give them because that's always a big question too. Like what could I delegate? You can delegate a lot. And then you can work your way up. So that's one good news. When you are ready to hire that employee, though, I believe we have to get out. It's like, again, no one ever taught us this in law school. There was no HR class in law school. So I always say, like, to everybody I work with, like, no judgment. No one taught you this. And probably the way you learned was by watching what other people did or how you were interviewed. And at least when I started out of law school, I was kind of told, well, find someone that you might want to go have a drink with after work. That's what the goal of the hiring process is. And no, you're not trying to find a drinking buddy. At least I don't think so. You're trying to find that one person who's going to work really well on your team in the way that you like to work. And so it really starts with your core values. These are the guiding principles that you want that will guide your team and how you work. You know, are you systems oriented? Or are you iterative? Like we had someone, we were working on our team once, and she was like, I just want to come to work and do the same thing every day. And we realized, we were like, you're going to hate our team. We're constantly changing. We're constantly like, hey, can we do that thing better? Okay, that's cool. We just figured that out. But could we tweak it this way? What about this? And, you know, and she was just like, could we just take a break, you guys? Could we just not work on improving something this quarter? And that was so crazy to us. And it was a good reminder that when we're interviewing, we have to make sure we're finding someone who can keep up with the speed of change that we tend to work in. And so you have to really step back and think about, how do you work and what does that working world look like for you so that we can make sure we're hiring for that. If you're systems driven, I had a lawyer I worked with once, and her office manager, this lawyer had systems for everything. She was amazing, like very detailed manuals, checklists, steps, all the things. And she had a paralegal who just would not follow it. She just completely ignored it. And it was so frustrating to her. And I was like, yeah, like she's not the right person. You have to have someone who's going to be willing to follow the checklist every time. So we have to make that part of the hiring process. So I think it starts with really getting clear on who it is you're trying to hire so that we can then build a hiring process and a system to make sure we're finding that right person for you and for your team. And we're not just trying to find your next drinking buddy.
That was an incredible answer. Drinking buddy is a plus though.
Yes, for sure. That would be bonus, but that's like icing on top.